The EastWest Hollywood Orchestra Opus Edition is still pretty new, so I wanted to share a tip perfect for new composers working in Logic Pro. Hey everyone, my name is Robert Rodriguez and I'm a media composer. If you're new here, I want to invite you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. My goal is to help brand new composers feel confident entering the world of music. So having a workflow that keeps you in a creative state is probably one of the most important things when composing music. It's so easy to be in the flow of writing and then get sidetracked because of something technical going on in your DAW. That's why I want to show you how you can create your own articulation sets and apply them to the EastWest Hollywood Orchestra Opus Edition. So normally, if you were to pull up just a regular Keyswitch patch, you would then have control over the articulations of whatever instrument you're playing. So for example, I have the flute articulation patch pulled up. And normally, if I wanted to adjust articulations, I would have to go to where these switches are and on the keyboard adjust manually as the music is being played. Or alternatively, you can just write in the MIDI notes themselves so that you don't have to play anything. Normally with key switches, you have to plan a little bit ahead because the note or the trigger has to happen before the music note is being played. So notice I had to give a little extra room here before the downbeat. So if I wanted this to be legato, I would have to go, and I know that C0 is legato. And so that bottom of the range MIDI note is gonna trigger the legato patch for my flute. And that could be fine, but that's not going to give you a realistic playback of what an actual flute might sound like. And so if you go into the Articulations tab, they're going to give you plenty of articulations depending on the instrument. Like this flute has sustain patches, legato patches, shorts, marcato, expressive, trills, you have effects, you have runs. So if you were to load up a flute patch from the Opus Edition library, your articulations might look a little bit different than mine. That's because I've already gone in and I've selected on and off the different articulations that I want, and you can adjust the key switch that it is routed to. So I wanted specifically the sustains to be on C sharp, while C0 is gonna be my legato. And then D, I want to be my shorts. I want D sharp to be staccato. I wanted E to be my halftone trill, F to be my whole tone trill. And then I have a range of different types of runs, like your major and minor runs, your octave runs, your whole tone runs, and then maybe some effects to go along with it. And so now maybe I want this to be staccato and has to be right before. So I went through and I adjusted the melody a little bit. I added in some key switches down here. So they have nothing to do really with the music. They just are triggering the articulations. And if you look closely, I trigger them just before the start of each note. Anything between this trigger and this trigger is going to be a legato. This is D sharp. So D sharp was our staccato. Then we have legato, our shorts. Anything between here and here is once again legato. This is our short, so these two notes are short. This is C sharp, so that's gonna be a sustained note. Legato again, shorts again, sustain, and then this was F0, so that was a whole tone trill. And so this is what it's gonna sound like with the articulations now added. And of course, you can go in and adjust expression, modulation, volume, mic positions, but you now have a phrase that is on the Keyswitch patch. Now, key switches are just not necessarily the optimal way of writing music, mainly because these notes down here can get pretty messy and you don't know which articulation you're working with. So that is where articulation sets can come into play. What I did was on the side here, I went to articulation set. I've already created an East-West piccolo flute, low switch patch. I would go down to East West. This was in the winds. This was a low switch, and there it is. What I can do is edit. And so what I did was, after setting up the articulations in here, I already decided what I wanted: legato C, sustain C sharp, shorts D, D sharp, staccato, and I routed that to Logic's articulation set. So what you can do is you can add however many you want, articulation 17, 18, or significantly less. And this is in the articulations tab. I go to output. I select the note type to be on. So pretty much it's as if I'm holding down the note that I want. So if I want a legato patch to be playing, it's gonna register as if it's holding down C0. So I applied that to all of them. And then I got to choose. So I know C0 here. And the cool thing is, if I were to then go to C sharp 0, go to D, Logic is gonna set it up for you chromatically. So you don't have to scroll through all of these to figure out which one. It just knows, okay, let's go for the next one. And once you create the articulation set that you're happy with, you would then go here, you can save as. Under your user account, mine is Robert Rodriguez, you would go to music, audio music apps, articulation settings, and this is where all of your articulation sets are gonna be saved. So I want it to be in East-West, I want it to be in winds, I want it to be in low switches because I know that it's a low switch. And I already pre-saved a few of them, but you can set, okay, this is gonna be my flute. Or if you're working on a brass horn, you can say, okay, I want this to be my horn ensemble, my solo horn. And you would save accordingly. And so now that we have an articulation set saved, I can get rid of all of these little notes down at the bottom. We're still using the Keyswitch patch, but now we have an articulation set that is gonna do the work for us. So if I wanted this to be legato, you would go in and here is all the articulations that we already saved into our settings. So I want this to be legato. Maybe I want this to be a staccato. Maybe this back to legato. I want these to be my shorts. Legato, legato. Shorts again. Maybe this I want to be sustain. That can be legato, shorts. Sustain. And I think it was a whole tone trill. So now Logic is going to switch those keys, but it's all going to happen in the background. This is all based on MIDI notes rather than individual triggers, which means that we can now get rid of that little pre-roll and everything can start on the beat that we want. And if you're still a little confused on maybe which articulation you're using, because you might have to click, okay, what are you? Okay, I assigned you to that. What are you? Okay, you're a whole tone trill. So one simple way to kind of separate the articulations is if you go to View, go to Set Note Color. Right now it's by velocity or how hard you hit the note, but you can set it by articulation. And so these are all your legatos, right? These are your shorts. These are your sustains. That is your whole tone trill. So it kind of organizes it just a little bit better. And so the thing with articulation sets is that even though you have to do a little bit more work before you actually start writing some music, it's gonna pay off in the long run because I already pre-saved and organized all of the sets that I want that can go with the EastWest Opus Edition library. So everything from piccolo is already preset to the switches that I want and to the articulation set that I want. The flute is what we went over. The alto flute has all of the switches that I want, but maybe a bit less. So this specific articulation set is gonna be very small. It's gonna have either legato, sustain, or staccato. And as you can see, I did this with Those were my flutes. I did it with the flute ensemble. You have your legato, your sustain, your shorts, staccato, and all you have to do is just pre-create these sets beforehand, and the rest of your music writing is gonna be a breeze. And so to kind of recap articulation sets, all you have to do is load up a Keyswitch patch. You can stick with the Keyswitches that the Opus library comes with, or you can adjust them the way I did. And then you can go ahead and create your own articulation sets in Logic to help you write music down the line. Articulation sets make the region look clean because I don't have any triggers at the bottom. All of the colors are organized by articulation, and my entire template is organized because all of my articulations are within one track. So let me know if you got value today in the comments down below. If you did, definitely consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. And if you're brand new to composing, I want to give you access to my free composer reference guide. It covers almost any genre for film and television and breaks the music down into 4 basic foundations: melody, harmony, rhythm, and orchestration. It's perfect for any new composer looking for an overview of each genre, and it gives you a simple starting point. So go ahead and get access to that guide through the description link down below. And as always, thanks for stopping by and happy composing.